Hello and welcome back to MATLAB programming course. In this video, we're going to explore how we can extract range of information out of matrix. So if you remember in vector 1, let me bring up the vector 1 we worked with. If we wanted to extract a range of information, we could do it like vector 1 equals let's say we were interested from the second column to the fourth column. So I would simply put 2 colon 4. So if I do that and hit enter, MATLAB just extracts this information because I told MATLAB to extract from the second column up to the fourth column. But how about the matrices? Because matrices do have 2 dimensions. And let me bring up the matrix 1 I work with, or matrix 4, I guess is better. Okay, so now if I wanted to extract information, I do have 2 dimensions and I need to specify exactly what I'm pointing to MATLAB for every single dimension. The way that we do that is like, let me call it A equals matrix 4, and now I want to extract let's say a part of it. Let's start from the middle part. So I'm going to extract this square matrix, so 9 5 6 1, because I was interested into extracting a sub matrix out of it. And did you remember that it showed you when I wanted to extract information like the vector, we separate the extraction element by column. And this was due to the fact that we had only 1 row, so we didn't bother to put it here. But here at matrix 4, I need to specify exactly where I'm pointing at. And if you wanted to point out to this submatrix on paper, the normal way that we can do is that, all right, so the first element of this submatrix starts from the second row and ends at the third row, right? Because we always deal with rows first in MATLAB. So it starts from the second row and extends up to the third row. In terms of columns, it starts from the second column up to the third column. So we put it like that. First rows starts from 2, ends to 3, comma, because we're going to extend to the columns right now. So the rows 2 up to 3 and columns also 2 up to 3. And if I put that and hit enter, now you see that MATLAB extracts just the middle part. Let me give you another example. B equals matrix 4, open parentheses. Okay, so 7, 3, 5, 2. Okay, we're interested into this set matrix. And if I want to do that, first I deal with rows. It starts from the first row and extends to the second row. So first up to second. Now we're dealing with columns, comma, and come here. It's third up to fourth column. So third and fourth. And you see that it easily extracts a set of information. What happens if you wanted to extract just this section row? Okay, the rows, we do have 4 sets of them, but we're interested into only starting from, let's start with this one. 8, 5, negative 1. Okay, 8, 5, negative 1. The way to do that is, again, let me call it C and call it matrix 4, open parentheses. And because now we're only dealing with 1 row, and it starts from the 4th row and ends on the 4th row as well. So the way that we do is call 4 here, comma. And it indicates that we're only dealing with the 4th row. And in terms of column, it starts the second and ends on the 4th. So second up to 4th. And if I do that, MATLAB perfectly extracts this set of information. To do another example, let me call matrix 4 again. And now we're interested to extract negative 8, 9, 5, and this 3 by 3 matrix starting from here. So the lower quadrant here, this part, a 3 by 3 matrix. I wanted to extract that. So again, it starts from the second row up to fourth row. And in terms of columns, stop 1 up to third. That's simple. So if I do that, I can easily extract information out of this. Let me clear the screen. Okay, we'll learn how to create matrices. We'll learn how to extract information out of matrices. But sometimes we need to just change the values in matrices and just manipulate the values. One way to do it is to, let me call it like matrix 1. So if I double click on the workspace here, as you see, if I double click on it, and I mentioned that before, that you can just manipulate the data. For example, I remember, oh, it was not 4, it was -4. So I put -4 here and hit enter. And if I just close this part and type matrix 1 and hit enter, now you see that the new value appears here. That's a very useful and powerful and fast way of changing the matrix values. And even I can add 5, 6 and 5, and then I can even extend that 7 and 8. Let me add another row too. So 5, 0, 8, and -124. Okay, so I extended matrix 1 into newer dimensions. So if I do that, and you see that the new values appear here. It's very, very handy for those people who are more confident in Excel-like interface for inserting the value into MATLAB. However, I encourage you to do it manually here, because the more you type, the more you program in MATLAB, the more you feel confident learning it. And, it has a learning curve that is going to be shortened by practice. And one of the best ways to practice correct programming style is to type it over and over again. With that said, I see you in next video.